Hello you, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Amber and in today's video we're going to be filling in another page in my sketchbook. So last week we started off with the gingerbread latte painting in the front there, and I done that with alcohol markers, coloured pencils and the Caran d'Ache Neo Colour 2 crayons. And this week I thought we'd continue with some 12 days of Artmas prompts, and I wanted to do them all on, well, not all, 3 of them on one page. So we've got ornaments, candle and holly. Starting off with the ornaments prompt, I was just using there my little brush cleaner pot just to make a nice circle. I feel like I'm just doing that one first page in my sketchbook. I already gained so much confidence and excitement for what's to come in the future pages, and I really think these challenges help so much build confidence because you're drawing things that you've never really done before, you've never even thought about doing. I don't really like doing Christmassy art. I've never made any Christmassy art really. So this was such a nice change and I did learn a lot, especially with the ornaments prompt. It was only my second ever alcohol marker, like piece, and yeah, I felt like it was just so fun. I did really well, and I didn't even use any colour pencils in this. I just tried to use the markers and I think it came out really, really well. So I can't wait to see what you think. I think drawing or painting a circle with any new medium is a really good way to practice and what am I trying to say? It's just a good exercise, because especially doing one of these Christmas ornaments on a tree, because you've got the really light side with the highlight, and then you've got a really dark side. So it's really good to practice shading and blending. So I'm just layering up some colours, and then I will just keep blending them out with the lighter version of the colour. So I went round with some dark purples around the edges, and then I'll go back over with my pink and try and blend them all together. Still very, very new with alcohol markers, but honestly I'm using these Ohuhu ones and I just think they're absolutely faultless. I love them. I love them so much. I really never thought I would love using this medium as much as I do. I noticed that with this paper, this is also the Ohuhu. Ohuhu is such a funny little word to say, I feel like, all the time. Yeah, I'm using their sketchbook as well. It's their marker sketchbook, and you can really layer and just layer, and the paper doesn't warp, which I was really surprised about, because I've with this one bauble or ornament in particular, I really gave this paper some what for, and it held up really well. I might have seen the other day a box turn up for my husband, and it did say Ohuhu on the side. So I'm guessing that he's bought me a nice large set of these markers for Christmas, and hopefully that is the case. So just recently I've been learning a new technique with acrylic painting, and well, I suppose it's with every painting, but I've just been learning to see more of the shapes in my reference photos rather than the details, because I do love a detail and I always try and fit in as many details as possible, and I don't really want to be doing that anymore. I really want to try and loosen up a bit. So when I first saw this reference image, I will put it on the screen here, but it's on Unsplash, so I'll link it down below so you can have a go if you want as well. But when I first saw it, I saw the the tree and all the details on the tree, and I felt really intimidated, and it nearly put me off drawing the photo. But then I thought, no, we'll just try and see the bigger shapes, and I did that, and I'm actually really happy with how the background came out, and it didn't really take very long at all. It's really difficult to like not see details when all you've done in your art lifetime is seeing details. So I feel like it's a constant, like a skill that I'm training myself to do, is to not see so many details now and just loosen up a little bit and just try and see the shapes. Moving on now to the second prompt, and that is candle. We're going a little bit more Halloweeny than Christmas now, because I took this reference photo like around September time, I think, and I never got a chance. Well, I just didn't draw it, so I thought I'll use my own reference to do this one, and I will also link that below. I'm building up like a little Google Drive folder full of reference photos, so I'll keep adding to it all the time, and you're welcome. Anybody who watches this channel or who's on my Instagram is welcome to use any photo in there for your own work. I do have some really good reference photos. I take a lot all the time. I decided to start straight off with the background of this one. I wanted to keep the whole page in with like a bit of a colour theme, so I mean, you don't have much choice when you have, well, I'm about to say only 48 markers again, but you know what I mean. Anybody out there who's obsessed with all the colours. I bought these little orange candles out of a witchy shop, and I just love them because the orange symbolises confidence and creativity. And I said in my last video, I'm not really a very confident person. When I get on a roll, I seem to be all right, just like with doing these videos. When I first start talking, it's like, oh, I'm terrified. But as soon as I start talking and get on a roll for a little while, then you know, I can't stop myself from talking. So, but yeah, sometimes I like to have like a little ritualistic night and light my creativity candle. And yeah, I just feel, it makes me feel good. That's why I thought I'd like to draw it. Another reference photo I've had for a while and have never done or drew or painted. You can't really see it on the video, but the ornament painting that I did, it started to get a bit of a shine on it, and I think that's just where I layered so many markers on top of each other. It doesn't really bother the paper, and I love that the paper doesn't like buckle or it doesn't rip. Usually, if this was like a water-based medium, it would have been awful by now, it would have ripped. But yeah, I just thought it's something to be wary of when you're working in alcohol markers, is if you layer too much, you will start to see like a shine, and I think they struggle to sort of layer on top of each other after a while. But that does take quite a few layers. I really tested them with the ornament painting. Gel pens work quite nicely over the top of the markers as well. I did notice that they sunk into the marker below a little bit, so you have to do like a few layers if you want to get really vibrant results, but I wasn't really too bothered. I thought it turned out pretty nice. And I also struggled with the flame. I don't know if you've seen how bad that is, but that's okay. I learned what not to do next time. Onto the final prompt now, which is holly. If you watched my last video, I said about how the markers bleed through to the page behind, and this is a good example, just showing you how they do that from the gingerbread latte before. But as I said, also, I don't mind. And if you wanted, you could play with your markers or any medium on a different piece of paper and then tape it in on that back page, which I think I might do. I might do some watercolor paintings or gouache or something, and then maybe I'll just tape them in. So I'm starting off layering all the reds. I wish that I would have left the highlights on the berries white, but I didn't think of that at the time, although gouache comes in at the end and saves the day. I think that's one really good thing about working in a sketchbook is I wouldn't usually layer gouache on top of alcohol marker, or actually I wouldn't even use alcohol marker for like a piece that I might think about selling, because I don't think they're light fast. I'm not even sure about that, to be honest, but I doubt it very much. But yeah, in your sketchbook, the possibilities are just endless. You can layer whatever you want on top of whatever you want, and I don't know, there's just such an element of freedom about it, where all my life, all my art career life, should I say, I've always just worried about what I should do and what is the best thing, what is the best like mediums to use for selling art. I've always just thought about selling my art and making art to sell, to be honest, and I think that's why I just burn out all the time. So it has been nice to just play and try new things out and see what mediums work nicely together, and if they don't work nicely, oh well, you know. But so far everything I've tried has worked quite nicely together, and I really love using the alcohol marker and colour pencil combo. That is a very enjoyable experience. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about these art challenges again, and why I think they're so good for creatives and artists. I just think they really push you outside of your comfort zone, and if you want to like get to know a new medium, there is such a good way to practice, because what you're going to draw is out of your control, and all you have to think about is that how do I get this medium to work for this prompt, you know? So yeah, I just think they're so good. They're so good for building confidence and just for practicing. There's so many on Instagram, different challenges that I like to do. There's the food paint challenge, and the liquid paint challenge is another one. I don't usually do very well with the 30-day challenges, normally because I try and do like full-blown paintings for them every single day, and it's just unsustainable and I can never really do it. So I've loved this one so far because it's 12 days and a prompt every 2 days is very nice and definitely much more manageable, especially when you're just doing smaller sketches in a sketchbook. I managed to do all 3 of these drawings in like one evening and one morning, I think. So I managed to get 3 days worth of prompts done in pretty much one sitting. So that felt good too. It's nice to feel like you're on top of it, you know, and like in front of the prompts. So this time I thought I'd see what my Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils would be like on top of the alcohol markers. In the last video I used the Pablo pencils, and I said that I found them to be like a little bit too hard and they didn't really layer as nicely as I'd like on top of the marker, but the Luminance is a much more waxier, softer pencil, and they layered much nicer. So that's a little tip. From the pencils I've used in the past, the Luminance, Derwent Drawing, Derwent Chromaflow, Prismacolor pencils, they're all really soft, lovely pencils and layer so nicely. So I will try all of the ones that I own over the next few weeks on these drawings, I think, and just see which works best. So now I'm going in with that gouache and adding in the highlights, and then I thought I'd try doing some outlines with the Micron Pigma. Is it Pigma? I don't know. A fine liner. which I noticed got a bit clogged up with the wax from the pencils, but I still do like the way it looked. Overall, I like the way all of these little drawings look on this page. I was really happy with them, and I experimented and tried some things out and got a little bit better with alcohol markers, I'd say. So yeah, it's a success overall, and I'm really happy with it. So as this video is coming out just before Christmas, I'd just like to say I hope you all have a lovely time and get lots of lovely art supplies under the tree. And yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and if you've got anything to say, leave me a comment, maybe a like, and maybe even subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. Thank you so much. Bye.